Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. I hope you have a good one. I've got to kind of try to make this quick. I'm working with a dead battery as usual. This is the first of the 3 back 1010s we have done. I kind of took the easy route on this one and went through and picked out all the best looking parts. I've done no paint work to it, and saw looks really nice. It has 90% of the paint still on it. Just made a really good looking saw, and for that matter a really strong, very torquey saw at that too. Been fully ported. I've shown what I do in other videos, but I will piece together a little bit here of me doing the port work and discussing it a little bit. I don't really remember how much detail I go into, but we'll just say this thing has a lot of transfer work, and I'm learning that's where it's at on these saws. It's all in the transfers. But with that said, it's been ported. We re-ringed and honed the cylinder, converted it to electronic ignition, advanced the ignition timing, has new crank seals. Everything was obviously cleaned up really well. Got the auto oiler working again, put a new fuel line in it. I need to rebuild the carb. I kind of got lucky enough, I guess, and the diaphragms were still good in one of those carbs, but the needle and seat is dripping off a little bit once you shut the saw off. You know, these saws are kind of known for that anyway. I don't know why, but most of them I've had to do it. Been sitting for a little bit, you can just grab them in one crank and they'll usually hit, but a lot of that's just due to mainly your carb being rebuilt and, you know, a leaky needle and seat. But this one's a little much. It kind of makes the saw hard to start back up, but it's not that bad either. The clutch, I don't know if it's just worn out or there may be some rust or dirt or something I missed on it. It's kind of not, it pulls good, but when the saw backs back down to an idle, the chain's still moving a little faster than I would rather it move. And unless you bottom the idling out really low to where it's almost about to die, you know, it won't stop until then. But I think I've got a couple extra clutches here somewhere. We may just swap it out one day, but could be one of those deals where it just needs ran some too for everything to kind of clean itself back up and free up a little bit. But you know, just something we'll have to address. But yeah, I thought I'd share this with you guys. I'm gonna piece together a little video, I guess, of maybe doing a little bit of the port work and showing you the cylinder before and after, and as well as the test cuts. I do plan on getting it over to the property either maybe late this evening or maybe first thing early in the morning before it gets up to 100 degrees. I've got a couple pretty good piles of wood over there just where I cut trees and left it kind of in the logs, I guess. But we need to get over there and get all that cut up to where it can start its seasoning out process, I guess you'll call it. But anyway, with that said, you guys will see that once I do. Next, I think I'm going to get into that Super Pro 80 before I put together another one of these. I do have most of everything here to build another one, but I think I'm going to have to locate a fuel line and yeah, it may be about it. Maybe pick up another carb kit, but I've got enough here to get started and do another one, but I kind of want to wait a little bit too. I don't want to burn myself out on building Mac 1010s either, but next saw we get into will more than likely be the Super Pro 80, and we do have another Super Pro saw coming, but I don't think it's going to need much of anything at all, and you guys should see it sometime in the middle of next week. So yeah, I'll quit running my mouth and get you guys a little video put together. Again, happy Father's Day, and you guys have a good one. Hey guys, we're about to get started on some port work on this Mac 1010 cylinder. Thought I'd share and take you guys along and show you exactly what I do to them. I do have a couple other videos discussing this and showing the port work. I've done quite a few of them, learned what they like and what they don't like. Some people may agree, may disagree. That's just fine. Not going to lose any sleep over it, but I'll give you a look. The intake port first. It's really narrow, really wide. Not a lot you can do with it. You can clean it up a little bit, but I'll advise you to leave the timing on it alone. Transfer ports, super weird design. Have no idea what the concept was behind that. I'm guessing they were going for a spiral effect or something, but again, not a lot you can do with those. Basically just a little narrow finger port. There's 3 on each side. I usually grab a couple of them, the 2 easiest to get to, and drag them down the feed off of the crankcase a little better, and then I'll go in and try to open them up the best I can without wrecking the cylinder. And trust me, I have wrecked a couple of these cylinders finding out what you can and can't do with those transfer ports. Exhaust port, again, weird design, kind of rectangle-ish inside. We alter that a little. I do go in and widen it what little bit you can to the outer edges. I don't touch that center bridge at all. It's real easy to mess up the plating in that area because it's super thin there. Then they come out and they're around here. I've used different designs on these here lately. I've just been kind of making a funnel out of the exit of them and leaving it be. Seems to work. The ones I've done seem to run a lot better than they did stock, and we'll be converting it to electronic ignition as well. But timing numbers on this one about identical to every other one I've done. You know, they'll vary a degree or so, but usually you're going to have a late exhaust opening, early intake opening, and transfers seem to always open about the same place on them. But with that said, I'm going to get you guys set up on a GoPro, and hopefully I can get some good shots of maybe doing a little bit of port work to this thing. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got our port work done on the exhaust ports, I guess you can call them. Got a really nice mirror finish on those. They're opened up about as much as you could safely go. You know, you could probably go in and square those out. I've done it in the past, but I've not really seen any performance improvement either. The inside of the port, you can see dang near mirror finish on it. You're welcome to go back and look at the beginning of when we started and see to where we've actually somewhat changed the shape of that port, and it's somewhat bit wider, and you know, at the end it's just a better, more high flowing port and going to make more power. And by doing that, we have probably altered the timing. Usually it's a degree or two. Usually end up around 104 degrees on these after I do this, and you know, that's a good safe number. It's not going to lose any compression there. That's, you know, capable of having a good clean 4-stroke if everything else is right at over 13 grand. I usually tune these things to around 12.5, and they're fat and happy there and have plenty of torque in the cut, and you know, do just fine. Others I've done different, turned up hotter and just didn't like them and either got rid of the saw or tore it down and redone it. But 104 degrees, good safe number. That's, you know, it's just my opinion on it. If you want to take them further, you're more than welcome to, but just take in consideration the further you go, you know, the less grunt you're going to have in the cut. It'll rev a little higher, but you know, at the end of the day, a couple hundred RPMs is just not worth losing all of that pull that we know these saws have. Alright guys, give you a look at the finish on that intake port. Again, not polished, just has about an 80 grit texture to it. Looks perfectly fine. Just a nice, smooth, high-flowing port. What little cleanup work we done shouldn't have changed the timing any at all. You know, maybe half a degree or something, but it's not going to be enough to ever know. Transfer ports, spent a lot of time on those. They are drastically opened up from the bottom to the top, but I don't know how well you can see it. I still kept like a you kind of want like a funnel on these. You want them more open at the entrance than the exit, if that makes any sense. About any of the transfer ports I do this way. It just leads into a higher velocity port and better throttle response, and you know, just generally more power in the end. But if you want to go back and look at before and now, these things have been drastically worked over, and I'm going to be that asshole that says that you're not going to go in and replicate that with a, you know, a Dremel flex shaft and some carbide cutters. You end up just wrecking your cylinder trying to do so. I spent a lot of time with the right angle handpiece, as well as all different size of cartridge rolls and deburring bits, and you know, just spent a lot of time on them. May not look like it, but I did, and you know, you'll probably see how strong this saw is before you ever see this video anyway. But anyway, don't know what I'll do with this or where it'll get placed at in a video, but you know, as always, thank you guys for watching. Let's show what little work I usually do to these tanks. I've shown it before. It's not polished, again, just a real nice finish. I've went to a little larger, different shaped roll. What I'm going to do is go in and try to work the sides of the port just a little more and the roof a little more, and yes, it'll alter timing a little bit, but it usually sets it right to where I want it to be, which has moved very little at all. Work our outer radius a little more. And this is like nothing you're used to seeing, I know. Go to the other port. Now I've got a smaller, about more worn out roll. Purposely I'm gonna go in and do some fine cleanup work on that, and then we'll be ready for our polish. And I can't really call it a port, but those ports will be finished. Other than the deburr and chamfering process. Okay guys, so I've changed the bed out my handpiece. What this is a piece of sandpaper. It's 500 grit, wet or dry. I've kind of got it and the port hosed down with WD-40 or a Great Value penetrating lubricant from Walmart. Same thing I guess, but just a lot cheaper. What this is going to do, it's going to polish and at the same time maybe knock down any imperfections that we may have missed. But in all honesty, these two ports look pretty dang good, and you could probably just leave them alone at the last stage and do your deburring and be done with it. But this leaves a really nice about mirror polish on the ports. And it somewhat deburrs the inside of the port as well at the same time. We'll still go over them by hand and the way we normally do though. I honestly try to go over all my ports with this method, but just with like 80 grit paper on the intake and transfers, because we don't want to polish on these. hopefully you can see what we're doing there. These are not cheap cutters I'm using. You're looking at anywhere from 15 to 30 bucks a piece. They are very aggressive, cut very fast, and I recommend you cut very slow with them. Just do a really nice job. We're going to try to move over to the next one, do our rough cut, and I honestly probably do the other side off camera, but I'm just videoing this to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing and how I do this. And I'm trying to do it through the dang camera monitor, which is not very intelligent. It is what it is. And I don't mean a big camera, I'm on a GoPro 7 Silver. Back to our cartridge roll, we're going to see if we can clean some of these trenches up. I'm going to call them that I've made and make them look a little better.